brother-in-law dog destroys my home office, $12,000 plus in damages. He refuses to pay me a cent. Throw away for obvious reasons. Let me start this post by retelling the story. My M24 and my husband, M22, had my brother-in-law, M23, and his girlfriend of 6 years, F21, over to hang out the other night. All was swell. We had a few drinks, watched a few movies, played some music, etc. And eventually we all hit the sack. My brother-in-law has a husky that isn't exactly trained and is known to tear up other stuff as she isn't being watched because she has really bad separation anxiety. So he bought a crate for his dog to sleep in so it wouldn't mess anything up. Cool. Fast forward to the next morning. I wake up to this really weird smell in our house. So I wake up to investigate. I walk downstairs to see that my Bill and his GF are still asleep. But the dog isn't in his crate. Once I saw this, I immediately had an awful feeling in my gut. God only knew how terrible of a day I was about to have. I continue to track down the smell, fearing it's a gas leak or something, only to find out it's coming from my home office. I open the door and the stench punches me in the face. My Bill put his dog in my home office and literally every single object in my room is destroyed. Let me try to explain this to everybody reading. First off, the smell. The smell was the smell of my work laptop, provided by the company I work for, from where the dog punctured the laptop battery of my work laptop. He literally mangled the laptop into like 8 different pieces. Unsalvageable. This is a $3,000 Windows laptop. It only continues to get worse. My personal laptop, about a $1,000 MacBook, was also mangled to a similar effect. My personal PC for gaming, about a $2,800 Windows PC, mangled. My personal iMac, probably another $2,000. Can't find the receipt. Everything else is verified and rounded down to the nearest hundred. Also mangled. Multiple 4K monitors, $400 each, mangled. A PS5, Xbox Series 10, a Switch, an Xbox 360, a PS4, a PS3 and a Wii, all mangled. Furniture in my room, including my computer desk, my computer chair, a leather reclining couch, a wooden TV stand, drywall, windows, wall art, closet doors and many other things in my office have either been chewed on, scratched, or outright destroyed. There's also a TV worth about $2,300 laying face down on the ground. Screen scattered. I feel like this is only the tip of the iceberg. So far, I have totaled it to be around $12,000 plus. Again, rounding down this time to the thousands worth of damages. I am still far from calculating all of the damages. The closest thing I can describe this as is imagine you wake up and you walk outside to see that your $13,000, $15,000 car is literally on fire. I immediately open a window, grab anything I think have popped batteries or anything else harmful to be breathing into trash bags. Take them outside and put them into an empty shed. I go back in, tears at this point pouring down my face to go wake up my husband. I can barely even explain to him what's happening and I literally just drag him to my office. My husband almost immediately understands exactly what happened. He immediately goes out into the living room where my Bill and GF are sleeping and just starts yelling at his brother. His brother literally has no idea what's going on. He apparently didn't hear the demonstration zone that used to be my office last night. He says that his dog wouldn't stop whining in the crate. So instead of just letting it out of the crate and letting it sleep on the couch with him, I'm 100% confident the dog wouldn't have done anything. Remember, separation anxiety. So he just shut it up in my home office and went back to sleep. After my husband stopped screaming and I stopped crying, we walked him into my office and showed him what his dog did. My husband popped the question, "When are you going to pay him back for all of this?" He responds with, "What do you mean?" At this point, all of my sadness turned to anger. I asked him to repeat himself and to think carefully before he did. He had the audacity to actually repeat himself, and this time he made sure to add reasoning. "It's not my fault you have so many expensive things and that you decide to keep them all in one room. My bill, for context, makes about $120,000 as an electrical engineer. He can afford to pay me back from all of the damages to my home and office." He outright refused any responsibility and told me he has no plans to repay me whatsoever. Again, because it was my choice to buy all of these things and to keep them all in one room. My husband immediately cussed him out and told him to leave our home. Which he did. His girlfriend stayed back. She drove a different car. And she said she couldn't believe what she heard him just say, and after staying for about an hour, said that she wasn't going home and left to go stay at her mom's house. What do I do? We already called the police to come file a police report, but we haven't decided to press charges or anything to that nature yet. We're trying to work something out with him, but he simply just refuses to listen to anything we have to say to him. I had no parents growing up, no one to support me. 8 years ago I was homeless, sleeping on park benches, and have since built a life as a computer engineer that allowed for me to have all of the things that I own. Also, someone is going to have to pay the $3,000 for my company laptop. My husband is at the point where he said that until his brother comes to his senses. He doesn't have a brother anymore. His GF apparently still hasn't returned home, and it's been 3 days now. I'm more than certain he hasn't bothered to take his dog to the veterinarian, and I'm more than certain that his dog will die training to pass all of the pieces of electronics it ate. She literally ate a portion of my work laptop's motherboard and 8 portions of the glass on one of my monitor screens. I'm absolutely willing to take my bill to court. The one thing that his dog didn't manage to destroy was a 1080p security camera with night vision that was placed in the best area in the room to cover as much field of view as possible. I have picture-perfect footage of him opening the door and shutting his dog in my office. Watching the preceding footage is like watching a car crash. I truly believe that if this footage was shown to a jury that he would have no ground to stand on. I have the footage saved on multiple devices. Would it also make any sense to try to claim anything under my home insurance? Or am I just being stupid? I've been completely out of it for the last 3 days. Barely sleeping, barely eating, constantly crying, wanting to punch holes in my walls, wanting to go pour sugar in his Mercedes gas tank. I'm obviously not going to do that, and just outright feeling lost in this situation. I'm truly convinced that my bill thinks if he just ignores me, the problem will just go away. Please, any advice that you believe might bring me back some of my sanity would be appreciated. Sorry for any spelling, grammar mistakes. It's hard to type on mobile when your tears won't stop landing on the keyboard. Single quote. You could sue in small claims court. Look up the limit of cost there. It's likely under $12,000. But you wouldn't have to hire a lawyer. You could hire a lawyer to help write a demand letter and not have to sue him. You could claim it under homeowner's insurance. Your question about the money is not a relationship question. It's either a legal advice or personal finance question. I can't believe your bill is this obtuse. You have documentation and witnesses. You can either press charges or sue to get restitution from your bill. Depends if your husband will back you on this route. Or call your homeowner's insurance and get them involved. Once you are made whole, they may go after your bill for you. This probably belongs in our legal advice. Small claims in the US is around $5,001,200 in damage. A petty larceny charge is around $8,001,300 worth of stolen broken goods. This is most likely going to have to go to court. Your bill has made it clear he doesn't think he did anything wrong. So at this point, get a lawyer and let him tell them, it's not my fault my dog broke all their stuff after I put it in a room they weren't supposed to be in at LL in the first place. Boo-hoo, stop trying, TK, hold me accountable. Quote, nah fam. He gon' need to fix and personally replace everything. Talk with your husband about taking the bill to court. It sounds like that would be the best option. Possibly even the threat of a lawsuit and criminal charges may be enough to cause a change of opinion. See what you could claim on your insurance and then take his ass to court. If he won't compensate you on his own, and your hubs is supportive of it, make him learn the hard way. Clearly Bill has to be forced to be accountable for things 'cause he won't do it himself. Also, anyone who reads this comment should take this advice because I've been working with dogs for a long while. One of the best things you can do for a dog with separation anxiety is to stop telling your animal, bye and see you later when you leave the house. When an owner does this, your dog can automatically sense that you're leaving and they have no clue when you will return. This throws them off and makes them fearful. Rather than tell them bye, if they're food or toy motivated, give them a toy or treat before you leave. It causes them to associate you leaving with positive action, thus making them relaxed and comfy when you aren't home and less prone to anxiety attacks. I have seen this method work like a charm in a matter of weeks for super anxious dogs. It also works with kids too, if anyone's wondering. But don't give your kids dog treats. Give them real food, please. Press charges now and take him to the cleaners. The audacity of him to blame you. I'm very sorry this happened to you, but I'm so happy you have video. Good luck and many hugs. It's been 3 days. You made some steps. Filing a police report. It's okay to grieve the loss of your stuff and your relationship, but you need to take a moment for yourself and breathe. Do something that takes your mind off of all of this. Have a nice dinner with your so. Go for a lovely fall walk. This too shall pass. It's going to be okay, no matter the outcome. If you don't have an insurance broker outside your insurance company, I would get one before calling your insurance. Even calling to ask if this would be covered will affect your rate for years. They aren't your friends. Sue Bill. Call animal control for the dog's wellness. Personally, I wouldn't do charges, but I would definitely get my money back. He'd certainly learn a stark lesson about what responsibility means, and how his definition differs from reality. I would see what you could claim on your insurance. Not sure if it's a possibility or not, or how much you might get back, but it's worth a shot. My dogs have separation anxiety. They've destroyed my place a number of times. Couches, clothes, beds, theirs and mine. You name it. It's been and gone, but that's my stuff and I know what's going to happen most of the time. If they stayed the night at someone else's home, if I was or wasn't there, I'd be upset with myself for what happened. Granted, I don't make a lot of money and what you lost is a significant amount, but I'd be paying you what I could when I could to pay you back, replace everything. I took a cat in for a friend while she got herself on her feet at a new apartment. Didn't know the cat had fleas. I took care of everything myself. Pet treatment, interior treatments, boarded her cat. She refused responsibility. It wasn't $12,000 damage obviously, but I took her to small claims court and I did get back a good amount of what I'd paid for everything. I'm sorry that happened. I'd see what you could do with your insurance. Talk to your husband how he'd feel about everything moving forward. Hope everything works out and some agreement is made. Press charges. Call animal control. Sue. He made his bed and hasn't acted in a way that shows me you should be giving him any consideration. Here. Contact your homeowner's insurance immediately and see if they will cover damages. If they will, Bill needs to pay the deductible. If they will not, Bill will need to be taken to court if he refuses to pay. That is absolutely crazy. I'm so sorry. In my experience, 30+ year, there is no crime. I'd be surprised if police make a report. It's a civil matter. Contact your homeowner's insurance and proceed as they recommend. Get a lawyer. Sue for damages. I literally can't wait for the update to this story. So we sued my Bill and won. Quote, please update us after you drag his sorry ass to court and get him to pay up. This is what insurance and small claims court is for. Start with your homeowner's insurance. IANAL, but I don't think a crime was committed here. In almost all states, property damage crimes require criminal intent, not just recklessness. With some exceptions for damage caused by pyrotechnics. You, or really the dog, likely wouldn't be pressing charges. A police report should absolutely be filed for record-keeping purposes. But this is almost certainly a civil matter. What you need to consider now are what the legal costs might look like, how collectible he is, and what your state's small claims court limits are. For what it's worth, legal fees to go after him for liability, assuming you're above the small claims limit, will almost certainly be almost as much as you'd get in damages. So you'd have to go after him for legal fees as well. It's also worthwhile to contact your homeowner's insurance over this. Make a claim and they would be the ones that do the suing. If he's insured as well, his homeowner's insurance is possibly the entity that would be required to pay out those policies. Almost always cover pets for both bodily injury and property damage liability. Get a lawyer and sue him. Also, maybe talk to the girlfriend about going over and getting the dog to a vet. Maybe she can do this while Bill is at work. Press charges, sue his ass, and hopefully the dog gets rehomed and the training it deserves.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.